Not Philly, not all of them. We run the East. You better remember who got that damn title. Y'all forgot who the real champs in the NFC East is? Everybody pick up China.
Let me look into the camera at those Redskins players out there. Bravo! Bravo! You're the champions of the NFC East. Let me wipe my tears away, Max, because, I mean, this is just so touching. I can't believe, I'm getting emotional right now. We the real champions of the NFC East. Shut the hell up. Just stop it. No wonder y'all are losers. This is why the Redskins are not winning, because of an attitude that's asinine like that. You running the NFC East, you ain't even in first place. You a game behind a team you've already lost to. These are the Redskins. That's their damn problem.
Stephen A. Smith, folks, that was him yesterday responding to Chris Baker and Ricky Jean-Francois talking trash after the win against Philly. But Baker didn't limit the commentary to the Eagles and the cameras postgame. He also had some words for Stephen A. on Twitter. Can I read the tweet?
Go ahead.
Okay, at Stephen A. Smith. You better put some respect on her name. Always talking slick out your mouth. Professional smack talker. So we did reach out to the Redskins to ask if Chris Baker wanted to join us on the show. The team declined. What is your response?
Well, there's a couple of things I'd like to respond to. First of all, I want to say to the idiots out there that actually take something like that. I'm not talking about the Redskins. I'm talking about the idiot trolls out there who actually take something like this. What do you think I'm going to do, get in a fight with Chris Baker? Or do you think I want to commit suicide? It's stupid. You know what I'm saying? We're talking sports. I'm having a good time. Chris Baker happens to be married to one of our dear friends. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's all love. It's no big. We're just talking sports, all right? Nothing but love for the brother. That's number one. Number two, you're right. I'm a professional smack talker. That's absolutely true. I'm also a professional journalist for 24 years who was elevated to a general sports columnist, one of the few African Americans in the history of this country to have achieved that goal, not to mention hosting my own national radio show, my own national television show. So you're right. I am a pro. This is my lane. So you are not on a football field, which means you have no chance whatsoever. My condolences to you ahead of time. Now let me get down to business as it pertains to these Redskins, okay? Chris Baker and the Washington Redskins. He doesn't understand. He doesn't get this, Max. Chris Baker, I owe you a debt of gratitude. I want to personally thank you for opening your mouth and having something to say. You know why? Because here's what you missed. Who do I hate more than anybody in the world?
Cowboys fans?
The Cowboys. And who's in their division? It would happen to be the Redskins. Who's the guys that were just talking about they're the kings of the NFC East? It would happen to be the Redskins. So, Chris Baker, based upon your words, because you want me to attach respect to your name, and of course I'm going to, for obvious reasons that I already articulated earlier on in terms of your relationship to this network. Ain't nothing but respect and love for you, baby. Ain't nothing but respect and love for you, Chris Baker. But here's the question. What you gonna do? Because last time I checked, I'm sorry, did the Redskins beat the Cowboys? I mean, Max, refresh my memory, I don't recall. Did the Redskins beat the Cowboys this year? I think they lost to the Cowboys. Am I correct? Am I correct, Max?
You made that point loud and clear. You're not in first place, and you lost to the first place team.
You're not in first place, and it's because you lost to the team that is in first place. So your definition of kings of the division is being the second place team? I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that I'm sorry. Not even in chess or checkers is that true. Maybe chess, because we all know that the queen is the real strength. The king is. Maybe Chris Baker's playing chess instead of football. Maybe that's the problem, okay? But here's the deal.
He's got a good queen.
Here's the deal. I look at the Redskins, and what I have to say to Chris Baker is this. I get where you're coming from. I understand. You know, I'm looking at Matt Jones. He's running the football very, very effectively. Very impressive running back, averaging nearly 5 yards a carry. I'm looking at Robert Kelly and Chris Thompson and what they could do. You got a running game. Even though Kirk Cousins has struggled because he's Kirk Cousins, he's still completing 65% of his passes. You do have Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon in the last years of their deal. They're looking to get the football more. We know when Jordan Reed comes back, he could do some damage. Kerrigan and the crew are getting after the quarterback, and they're doing well defensively. The way I look at this, Max, according to Chris Baker, you know, I'll stand corrected. I mean, we still got 10 games to go, but I will happily stand corrected, Chris, if you are and the Redskins are what you say you are, which is not the team that hasn't made the Super Bowl since 1991, by the way. Not that team that hasn't been in the Super Bowl in 25 years. Oh, no, you're special, okay? So since you're special, with the Dallas Cowboys playing football the way that they play, Max Kellerman, is it wrong, Mollywood, is it wrong for me, Max, to sit there and say, well, I expect the Redskins to step up and handle their business? After all, Chris Baker's saying put respect to our name, right? Ain't that what he said? Ain't that what he said? I'm just asking, Mac. I'm just curious.
Usually I would respond to something you said, but if you have a DVR, just go rewind to the part where Stephen A. said he went from columnist to among the first African-American general sports columnist from the beat to the, and then 24 years of that, and now national radio show and national TV show. So yes, professional smack talker. Yes. This is his lane, and I think Chris Baker picked the wrong fight this time. Yeah. Stephen A., here's the thing. The Washington franchise, whose name I won't even use, is the worst franchise in the NFC East. That is the franchise you would least like to be a fan of the way they run their organization, starting with Dan Snyder. They haven't won a Super Bowl in a quarter century. They celebrate winning the NFC East 1 year. When they call out, it's not Dallas who's running it. Actually, at the moment it is. They are a game better than you because they beat you, and they're in first place in the division, as though that's the important thing, to win the division. And then you call out the Eagles. It's not the Eagles who are giving their fans more excitement and hope for the future than Washington is. I was offended as a Giants fan. You're one game better than the Giants at the moment, and the Giants are the only team in the division that is repped in terms of Super Bowl championships. 2 in the last 9 years when you got 0 in 25. So I was offended as a Giants fan. Any NFC East fan's going to look at Washington and think, who are you? Are you kidding? Because you win a game. On the other hand, they're just, in terms of smack talking, they were just talking some smack on their way to the locker room. They felt good about themselves because they won a game. Whatever.
Well, a couple of more things before we end this segment, Max, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Chris Baker plays defense, doesn't he? Doesn't he play defense? I think he plays defense. Doesn't he play defense, Max? I think I remember that. I mean, I just think so. 18th overall, 28th against the rush. You might need to fix that if you're going to be the best in the NFC East with Ezekiel Elliott there. I'm just saying. And, oh, by the way, my man Tony Wiley is the communications voice for the Redskins. That's my brother right there. We've known each other for decades. That's my man, all right? The best in the business, by the way. And last but not least, pundits like Doc Walker and Brian Mitchell, these are professional smack talkers who also played, who, by the way, are the voices of the Redskins and have invited me on their radio show today to talk even more smack and validate what the hell I said yesterday. So to the nation's capital, I will be on ESPN Radio, 9:80 a.m. this afternoon after 3 o'clock. Chris Baker, you're welcome to join me if you want to make a case for your Redskins, who haven't won a Super Bowl since 1991. I'm just saying.
Washington franchise doesn't want it. Chris Baker wants it. Washington franchise doesn't want it.
No. They're protecting him. He don't want none of this. Come on now. Come on now. Let's move on.
We'll leave it there.
Let's move on.
Until
but I got nothing but love. Hold on. But I got nothing but love for Chris Baker because he's family. It's all in fun. It's all in fun. Nothing but love for him.
And you love the nation's capital as well.
Yes,
Coming up next. NBA.com released its annual survey of NBA GMs, where Karl Anthony Towns was voted as the player they would like to start their franchise with. Towns won Rookie of the Year last season after averaging 18 points and 11 rebounds per game with the Timberwolves. So Towns finished with 48% of the vote, with Kevin Durant finishing second with 20%, LeBron James finishing third with 17%, and last year's winner of this vote, Anthony Davis, was just listed as receiving some votes. Stephen A., did they get it right, Karl Anthony Towns?
No, they did not. And I love Karl Anthony Towns. He's a beautiful player, beautiful person, incredibly bright future. But the game has changed, and I understand why anybody would look at Karl Anthony Towns and consider, because he's not just an inside back-to-the-back player. Most of the time he's facing the basket. He can hit perimeter shots. He can even hit threes from time to time. Let's be clear about that. He shot 34% from the three-point line last year, but he's no Steph Curry. Not in today's game. Steph Curry and Kevin Durant would be two players that I would instantly take before him, because when I look at a Steph Curry and I look at a Kevin Durant, I see guys who can pull up from 30 who don't need someone else to handle the ball for them before they get the ball. That's not to say Karl Anthony Towns can't handle the ball, but he's essentially a power forward, you know, who can play center, and you're going to have a point guard, whether it's Ricky Rubio or somebody else, running the offense, etc. Steph Curry is the first person that I would go to, because he shot 50% from the field, 45% from three-point range. He handles the ball a lot of the time because he's the point guard on the Golden State Warrior, and he is the greatest marksman I have ever seen in the history of basketball. When you combine that with the way that the game is played in this day and age, Karl Anthony Towns is going to be big time. He is going to be a superstar in this league someday. I have no doubt in my mind. But this is a guard's game in this day and age. And because of those rule changes, I'm rolling with Steph Curry.
Incorrect. They got it right, Stephen A. Smith. Karl Anthony Towns, as I said, is the guy who's eventually maybe going to take over from LeBron, because even LeBron in decline can keep doing this for as long as he wants, it seems, maybe 3 or 4 years from now. Karl Anthony Towns, when you're starting a team, you got to look at age. If you're not good, and maybe like the answer is LeBron, because he's so great that just having him means you're in a running for a championship for the next 3 to 4 years. But if it's not LeBron, and we're going to take age into consideration, Steph is pushing 30, so is KD. He's getting close. If you want to go with a guard, you go with Kyrie Irving, the second best player in those finals just last year. And he's 24 years old. So Kyrie would be the choice at guard. If you don't want Karl Anthony Towns, if you don't want Karl Anthony Towns, then you go with Anthony Davis, although his injury history gives me pause. And I'll give you another name. Kristaps Porzingis, who's 7'3" and only 21 years old, can take bigs off the dribble, can play with his back to the basket, can defend the perimeter, can defend
You're
the
speaking
interior,
about potential,
and can shoot.
You're speaking about potential. And
yes, of course.
Hold on, calm down. This is basketball, baby. Hold on. The fact of the matter is you're speaking about potential. I'm not disputing that. I'm saying at this moment, based on what we have seen, where would you go? And I'm saying to you, I got a dude in Steph Curry, who is the greatest marksman we've ever seen, who is a point guard who primarily has the ball in his hands. The combination of those two ingredients combined with today's game, to me, there's no question. And the closest thing to him is Kevin Durant, because at 6'10" with a 7'6" wingspan.
Hold on. So you're going with two guys who 30 is coming up pretty soon, and neither one of them really have alpha personalities to begin with, which is why they've teamed up to try to get over the LeBron hump.
I think Steph Curry has an alpha personality.
He hasn't shown it in the finals?
Well, excuse me. I think he has an alpha personality. He wasn't 100% healthy last NBA Finals. He didn't play stellar, but don't tell me he doesn't have an alpha personality. Alpha personality isn't defined by just the finals. It's a bevy of big moments. Hold on. It's a bevy of big moments. Do you show up? There have been times when LeBron didn't show up. We're not going to deny that he's not an alpha personality now.
And he evolved. If you are the back-to-back league MVP with back-to-back substandard finals appearances, what do you have to say about that? And you didn't neglect to mention the best thing about Steph, not just that he's a marksman, but he spaces the floor differently than everyone else.
Yet another reason that helps me. Thank you very much. I appreciate you helping my point out, because you usually do. You usually do.
You take a 30-year-old over a 20-year-old?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We need to revisit this. This is very...
I actually don't. He closed it because he closed it agreeing with me.
That's what he did.
That's what he did.
He did close it.
You know?
All right.
Thank you for agreeing with me.